You're about to learn something remarkable. A way to change your life in just 5 seconds.
It sounds like a gimmick, doesn't it?
But it's not. It's science. You change your life one 5-second decision at a time. It's a fact, and it's the only way you change. This is the story of a simple rule. What it is, why it works, and how it has transformed the lives of people around the world. The rule is easy to learn, and its impact is profound. It is the secret to changing anything. Have you ever felt that way? The moment the alarm goes off, you just can't fathom how you're going to get through the day. The alarm rings and you just don't want to get up. Or how about this one? You lie awake at night and your mind is spinning. You can't sleep because all you can do is worry and think about all your problems. For many of us, this feeling becomes a habit of hitting the snooze button, of putting things off, of letting overwhelm win before the day has even begun. That's actually how the rule began. It was invented to break the habit of hitting the snooze button. The very first time it was used, the person who came up with it thought it was silly. But they had seen a TV commercial of a rocket ship launching, with the iconic countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And a simple, harebrained instinct was born. Tomorrow, I'm going to launch myself out of bed like a rocket. I'm going to move so fast I don't have time to talk myself out of it. The next morning, the alarm rang. The usual feeling of dread swept in. The urge to hit snooze was overwhelming. But then, the memory of the rocket launch came back. Instead of thinking, instead of hesitating, the counting began. Backwards. 5, 2, 1. And then a physical move. Standing up. That was the exact moment the 5-second rule was discovered. The rule is this. The moment you have an instinct to act on a goal, you must count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and physically move before your brain kills the instinct. The rule is incredibly important, because from the moment you have an instinct that could change your life, you only have 5 seconds before your brain will shut it down. So what happens when you use it? Why does something so stupid like counting backwards actually work? It turns out that when you count backwards, you mentally shift the gears in your mind. You interrupt your default patterns of thinking, the worrying, the excuses, the fear, and you do what psychologists call asserting control. The counting distracts you from your excuses and focuses your mind on moving in a new direction. This is a form of metacognition, a fancy word for a simple concept. There are ways you can out-trick your own brain to achieve your greater goals, and the 5-second rule is one of them. The countdown is a starting ritual. It activates your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain you use when you focus, change, or take deliberate action. When you physically move, your physiology changes, and your mind follows. There will always be things in your life that you hate doing. You will still have to do them. This rule is what will help you push through the things you just don't feel like doing. You'll start to notice a 5-second window between your initial instinct, like, I should speak up, I should go to the gym, I should start writing that book, and your brain killing that instinct with a flood of doubt. When you see this 5-second window, everything will change, because you'll realize the problem isn't your ability, it's your hesitation. In 5 seconds, you could either make a decision to push yourself forward, or let your excuses hold you back. That's it. That's life. When you push yourself to take simple actions, it creates a chain reaction in your confidence and productivity. You create momentum. You start to experience a sense of freedom and power that's hard to describe. This is tied to an important concept in psychology called the locus of control. The more you believe that you are in control of your life and your future, the happier and more successful you will become. And after 50 years of psychological research, only one thing is guaranteed to increase your personal feelings of control: a bias toward action. You have to become the kind of person that stops thinking and starts doing. We have all bought into the myth that in order to change, we must feel motivated. That's complete garbage. The moment it's time to act, you will almost never feel motivated. If you want to improve your life, you have to get off your ass. That is the power of a push. The 5-second rule will help you stop talking and start doing. Life requires courage. Not the kind of courage you see in movies, but everyday courage. The kind it takes to get out of bed some days, to speak to your boss, to pick up the phone, or step on a scale. Courage is precisely what the 5-second rule helps you find. Think of Rosa Parks. On a December evening in 1955, she quietly refused to give up her seat on a bus. She didn't plan it. She described herself as someone who tried to stay out of trouble. When asked what made her do it in that specific moment, she said simply, "The time had just come that I had been pushed as far as I could stand to be pushed." It happened so quickly she didn't have time to think it through. Her instincts signaled, "You're not being treated right," and she pushed herself to follow them. That's what courage is. It's a push. The kind of push we give ourselves when we stand up, speak up, show up, or go first. Courage is a birthright. It's inside each and every one of us. You were born with it, and you can tap into it anytime you want. When you listen to your instincts and use the 5 seconds rule to honor them, you will discover the most important fact about life, period. The power is in you. The treasure of your life is not inside someone else. You are the source of power in your life. Now let's talk about your feelings, because they are the single biggest thing holding you back. If Christine in the meeting wants more executive presence, she should share her ideas. It's obvious, right? But she's not struggling with speaking. She's struggling with self-doubt. Here's why it's so hard to do the things you know you should do. It's your feelings. We make almost every single decision based not on logic or our goals, but on our feelings in the moment. And our feelings are almost never aligned with what's best for us. Neuroscientist Antonio Damasio found that human beings are feeling machines that think, not thinking machines that feel. We feel before we act. When you have a decision to make, your brain makes a gut call based on how you feel. So when you ask yourself, should I get up? You're subconsciously asking, do I feel like getting up? The answer is almost always no. You cannot control how you feel, but you can always choose how you act. If you only act when you feel like it, you will never get what you want. You must learn to separate what you feel from the actions you take. The 5-second rule is a remarkable tool for this. The moment you feel too tired, you'll decide not to go for a run. But use the rule and go. You activate your prefrontal cortex, and you can make yourself go. You untangle your feelings from your actions, and you unlock your true potential. So how can you apply this right now? Let's start with ending procrastination. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's a coping mechanism for stress. You're not avoiding work, you're avoiding the stress associated with it. When you avoid a hard task, you get a moment of relief. The problem is the work piles up, which creates more stress, and the cycle continues. Here's a 3-step way to cure it. First, you must forgive yourself. Research shows that students who forgive themselves for procrastinating are less likely to procrastinate on the next test. Beating yourself up only adds to the stress. Second, picture your future self. What would the person you want to become do in this moment? This gives you the objectivity to push through the present struggle. And third, just get started. Use the rule and work for just 5 minutes. You don't have to finish it. You just have to start. This replaces the habit of avoidance with the habit of action. Now, let's talk about worry and anxiety. Worry is a habit and you can break it. When you catch yourself worrying, use the 5 seconds rule to interrupt the thought pattern, and then refocus your mind on something you are grateful for. Gratitude isn't just a nice feeling. It changes your brain chemistry, shifting you out of fear and into a more positive state. For anxiety, which is what happens when worry spirals out of control, you can use a powerful reframing technique. Physiologically, anxiety and excitement are the exact same thing. Your heart races, your palms get sweaty, your body is in a state of arousal. The only difference is what your mind calls it. Instead of telling yourself, I'm anxious, use the rule and say out loud, I'm so excited. This gives your brain a positive reason for the physical sensations, which stops the spiral of fear and allows you to stay in control. Finally, let's touch on passion. To find your passion, you must explore. Follow your curiosity. It's how your instincts tell you what you truly care about. Don't try to make money at it. Just make it a hobby. Pay attention to what you envy in others. It's a clue to what you want for yourself. Take a class. Read a book. Start small. Momentum will build as you move from exploring what you find fascinating to explaining it to the world. And in your relationships, there are only 2 words of advice you need. Say it. Leave nothing important unsaid. Intimacy and connection take courage. The result is nothing short of magic. You are one decision away from a completely different life. Success is a numbers game, and you're not going to win if you keep telling yourself to wait. The more often you choose courage, the more likely you'll succeed at getting what you want. When you count from 5 to 1 and push yourself forward, that's the moment you discover the magic in your life. You might not get the response you wanted, but that's not the point. In the end, you're going to get something way cooler. You're going to discover the power inside you. Whatever is happening right now, this is it. This is your life, and it's not going to begin again. You can't change the past, but in 5 seconds, you can change your future. That is the power of the 5-second rule. When your heart speaks, honor it. One moment of courage can change your day. One day can change your life. And your life can change the world. There is greatness in you. The time to reveal it is right now.